Alright, in this video, I want to quickly demonstrate how to use some common formulas. The first is XLOOKUP, and what the XLOOKUP does is pretty much just return a related value based on a unique identifier. So here we have a short list of unique identifiers, all of which can be found in our second table. And we start this off like we do any formula. Equals, name of the formula, and open left parentheses. The first required parameter is the lookup value. So the lookup value is the unique value that we want to reference that could be found in both data sets, which could then be used to return the related value. Right, so, okay, equals XLOOKUP, open left parentheses, select our unique identifier, comma, and then the second required parameter is where we want to find our lookup value. And in this case, it's in column B, from B3 to B102. We then want to hit F4, assuming you have a full keyboard, which will change our cell referencing from relative to absolute, and then comma, and the last required parameter is the related value that we want to return, and specifically the range where that can be located. So let's just say we want to return the total sales. So G3 to G102 with the F4 to fix the cell referencing, and then that's all we could finish right now. I would get into a habit of using at least this first optional parameter, which is pretty much an if error. So if the return value can't be found for one reason or another, and error is returned, what do we want to replace that error with? And here we could just error fix your shit. Right. And so all these are over here somewhere, so you won't see that value returned for any of these examples. But let's say we put in something that we know is not in the other data set. Then we would get that if error response returned. So, alright, so that's XLOOKUP. Next we'll do SUMIF and COUNTIF, and they mean what they sound like they mean. For SUMIF, you're summing values in a single column based on one condition being true. Same with COUNTIF. You're counting the values in a single column based on one condition if it's true. So here we want to sum all the total sales if the region is north. So equal SUMIF, open left parentheses, and it asks for range as the first parameter, first required parameter, which is just the location that we want to find our criteria. So we could just select the entire column in this case. When to use a specific range or entire column, we'll leave for another day, but we'll just use the range in this instance. So we want to look from I3 to I102. Let's F4 it so our cell referencing stays absolute. Then comma, and this second required parameter is criteria. That in this case is going to be north. Another comma. If we find north in our range, what do you want to sum? And we want to sum the total sales, which are in G3 to G102. Fix the cell referencing and close the parenthesis. And you could see the north region had total sales of $10,426.14. Just drag the formula down and you see the total sales for the rest of the regions. COUNTIF, similar. Range, we want that same range. Fix the cell referencing, comma, and criteria, in this case, north. So we have 19. So 19 total sales summed up to $10,426.14 for the north region. And then SUMIFs, COUNTIFs are attempting to accomplish the same thing, but when there's more than one condition that needs to be met. So it would be similar to a sum if and. If you're using an older version of Excel, I'm not sure if SUMIFs and COUNTIFs are available in some of the older versions, but we'll start it like we do any Excel formula. And then here, as you can see, it's a little backwards in regard to when they're asking for, some of the parameters that are found in both formulas. Sum range, so we know that is G3 to G102. Let's fix our cell referencing, comma, and then our first criteria, range. Notice it says range, not value, will be region. So I3 to I102, F4 to fix your cell referencing, and then the criteria we want to look for in that range, which is north. Now we're going to do the same for the second criteria. First, find the range that we should look in to find the criteria, excuse me, which is D3 to D102, and then the second criteria is the product. And so you could do that for as many conditions as you have, but here we only have 2, so we're done. And as you could see, for the north region and the gadget product, total sales came to $4,199.98. For the rest of the regions and product combos, you can see the results here. COUNTIFs, very similar. Criteria range 1, so we know our first criteria is north. Where are we going to find that? I3 to I102, and then the criteria itself, criteria range 2, which is products, so D3 to D102. Remember to fix your cell referencing, and then our second condition. So, Alexa, dismiss. There were 7 sales transactions for the north region with the gadget product that amounted to $4,199.98. Alright, you should be able to get pretty far and do quite a bit with just these few simple formulas. I hope it helped.